Oh, baby.
Hi, Ness. Oh, I don't have a mic on.
Oh, you should get a mic on.
I should probably do that.
What's up, everybody?
I'm going to put it right by my heart.
Oh, look at you.
Aww.
It's a stitched heart, too.
It was meant for a Valentine's Day, but we did not have a Valentine's Day show.
We didn't have a Valentine's Day show.
So I thought I would wear it today.
Well, happy Valentine's. Belated.
Belated.
To everyone. It was a fun Valentine's Day for us. We spent it at the hospital, so that was always fun.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk medical.
I know, I didn't. We're not talking medical.
Okay.
We're just saying where we were.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
But it was nice. It was nice. We had some
hospital cafeteria breakfast.
I had some hazelnut coffee. By the way, check out my new coffee mug. I don't know if you can see that.
That's nice.
I'm rocking the Lost Art Press coffee mug.
Yeah, you're lapping it up.
I think
Did you get it? LAP, Lost Art Press, lapping it up. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Trying to work here.
Hopefully our levels are okay. It looks okay.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't get to test anything before the show.
Yeah,
because somebody was dragging pictures. But hey, let's just wing it. Let's go.
But yeah, Chris, this is a great mug, and I think
you
would like it because it holds. It looks like it would hold a lot, but it holds. He likes mugs that hold little.
Well, it's not that I like mugs that hold little. I like mugs that don't weigh a lot. So if that holds little but is heavy, it's exactly the opposite of what I want. I want more coffee, and I want it to be lighter.
Lighter, okay.
So if they had
I like a heavy duty.
Yeah, you've always liked a big chonky mug.
Chonky.
No, I'd like a dainty mug. I should be drinking out of espresso cups, like regular coffee.
So this mug that he is, by the way, welcome to the morning show, the Woodworking Morning Show. I'm Nicole.
What's up?
This is Mark.
Go on. You were saying?
He brought this. This is a mug that I got when Mateo and I went to DC, and we went to the I don't know, one of the museums, and you took it to school, and a guy looked at you like, "What are you doing?"
You man took it to school.
I remember we walked the kids to school, and the guy was like,
"Oh,
nice mug."
Oh yeah. I don't pay attention. I just grab the mug that's the size I want.
And I'm like,
whether it's a Hello Kitty mug or a We Can Do It. Actually, this is a really fantastic idea to have like me photoshopped into that and just have me holding a chisel
honestly,
or something.
I think that would disrespect the memory of what that...
Of women's lib?
Yeah.
Well, it's 2025, Nicole. Welcome to the new world. All right, should we...
Oh my God.
We had a class recently.
Yeah, we did.
Which was another fantastic one. This was class number 2 for the bar stool.
Deuces.
What a great bunch of people. Like, every class is fantastic. These guys are amazing people. Super fun to hang out with. And it was good. I had a really good time.
Before we get into that, I want to remind the chat, if you're new here, you can ask questions. We may not answer them instantly, but I am monitoring the chat, and I have a mechanism to where I can flag them and come back to them very easily when he stops talking or when I stop talking.
Well, we also have questions pre-selected from Patreon and YouTube from our members and patrons, and we don't have that many of those. Yeah. So once we get through them, it's all live questions.
But you know what we're gonna bring back?
Short shorts.
Hi, Mateo.
Knee-high socks. What are we bringing back?
We're bringing back the thank yous. So I just picked the first 10 recent patrons, and I just want to say thank you to Dennis Miko, Steve Weisenberger.
Yeah, this is going to take a while.
Sorry. Michael Foll, Ed, Chris Meyer, Art, Bram Bart, Nicholas Bowles, Steve Hancock. I used to work with a guy named Steve Hancock.
I think Nicholas probably prefers that to be pronounced bowls. But if you want to say bowels, that's totally fine. Sorry, Nicholas, you're welcome.
Hey, I am so if you listen to Wood Talk, Cremona got his enunciations from me.
Yeah.
And Paul Springer. These are all from Patreon. I did not go into YouTube. That's my next. But I figure I would do these a little at a time, just to get back to saying thank you for being here and supporting the show. Yeah. And
we do appreciate it.
That's my new thing.
You're going way out of order though. We were just talking about classes, and then you jumped to thank yous, and then now we're going to jump back to classes.
It made more sense to jump to thank yous.
I'm just going in the order on the list here, but whatever.
Did we say what today is? The national...
Oh, card reading day?
Card reading day.
What do you do with that?
I don't know. You read a card?
It was another thing invented by Hallmark, so that we all go out and buy cards and read them.
But you just go to...
Can I read a baseball card?
Like, yeah, right?
That's a card.
It's
a card.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, all right. So the next thing is you were talking about the February class and the people that were there, and we have some great pictures to share with you to make you have some FOMO.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
it really is.
I still don't know what the future of this is and how much we're going to do.
Oreo.
It's a blast.
Of course, when the glue showed up, Oreo showed up.
He's like, hey, I heard there's a glue up over here. May I help you?
It's like he's. I think he just is attracted to the smell of glue, maybe.
Well, no, it's quiet work.
Yeah.
And it's work where you're focused with your hands and looking at the table, and he could put himself there and wants to be part of it.
And there is.
Oh, it's lunchtime.
It's lunchtime.
Look at that fabulous man down on the bottom left having a good time. Who invited him?
Oh my God. So this oh, and then the Matt in the corner here is like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, he's like, why am I here?
Matt's on the right hand side there. He was our help. And it was very thankful. I was very thankful that he was there.
Matt's a good guy.
Yeah, he really is. And there's the guys, and they're finished benches. So
there it is. Look at it. Look at the guy in the middle.
Gene,
making a weird face.
Greg, Doug. I'm so bad at memory.
With names. I don't even know why. This is like I go to a Major League Baseball game. I pick up a bat. I point to the stands as if I have any business of pretending I can hit a home run.
No.
Why did you even attempt it?
Because I appreciate it.
Just keep on going.
I know. I'm going to remember. And there's our group photo.
Yeah, we appreciate all of them. It doesn't mean we remember their names. It's totally fine.
We gave everybody certificates for completing the project. And Greg, if you're watching, Greg brought gifts from Newfoundland, Canada. And I noticed that you cracked into the maple syrup.
I did. It was delicious.
Yeah. Do I have anything else? Oh, no, just our pottery experience. So I'll go back to the main camera.
That was great maple syrup. Canadian maple syrup and oak barrel aged.
You tried to get Cosman to bring you some syrup, but he didn't take the hint.
What a jerk. Didn't bring me free syrup. What a turd burger.
We did have name tags. I just have a terrible memory right now.
I'm lucky to remember them while it's like the class is happening.
I actually have a medical excuse for mine.
Me too. Me too.
Don't.
Okay. So, and I did want to show you really quick.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting thing that's been happening with this particular bar stool. Is the evolution.
Oh, yeah.
I normally don't get a chance to revisit my projects this much. I'm sort of a one and done. I build it, I move on to the next thing. And I'm getting a little bit of sort of enlightenment to how like real furniture makers who are trying to develop maybe a line of furniture or just pieces that they can then build more in the future.
I don't want to interrupt you, but Jim and Justin.
Okay.
That's Jim and Justin.
That's helpful. That was also worth interrupting me
I'm
for.
sorry.
Thanks.
I just felt terrible. I forgot their name.
I don't feel bad at all. It's fun. But it's giving me some insight into what folks like that can do with building prototypes. And then even once they're beyond the prototyping phase, every time they build it, it's a opportunity to reevaluate it and decide whether they want to make slight changes to improve the design. I've never had that opportunity. It's just something that doesn't come up in the type of work that I do. But in the classes, each time I work with students, I've got 5 people building this design and executing it, and I see all kinds of areas for improvement, not just in the design itself, but the process. So this has been a very enlightening and difficult thing for me because, truthfully, each class is technically building a slightly different version of this thing as I improve it. So this is a version I've made, and I could only get 6/4 in birch.
It's chunky.
It's a chunky boy, but this is what I'm going to call the current version. I'm not going to say final because I'm probably going to revisit it again. But it's the same design. It's just I've beefed things up. I've made some changes to improve the buildability of it, if that's actually a word. The sturdiness of it. And I've really improved things a lot. So there's that. Now, the process is an interesting thing too, because when you watch 5 woodworkers of various skill levels coming in and building a project for the first time, boy, that's a lot of hands and it's a lot of variables, and you have to do things to reduce those variables. So one of the things that I went nuts on is making flush trim sleds. Now, this was actually something we wound up doing a Guild Plus live demo on last week to show how you take a template and actually create a sled that's just a reusable fixture that you could put your workpiece on.
What's Guild Plus?
It's a thing. Hold on. But it makes the process so much safer and so much easier, especially in the hands of woodworkers who are either new or in a new environment and they're not totally comfortable. So I have been using the heck out of toggle clamps. And I just got a new pack because I ran out, and I'm using all the ones I've got.
I am on it. I just put I put the affiliate link from Amazon in there.
Yep. So this is a 4-pack, I think, for $15. These are just fantastic. So if you're going to be making some of these sleds, you got something you got to batch out parts for. We're going to want some toggle clamps. Great thing about it is you just screw them onto the sled that you made, and if you don't want to use that anymore, keep the sled, but you could take the toggle clamps off and put them on another project in the future. But Guild Plus is something you guys can sign up for. It's a little subscription daily whacker we have in the Guild, and we have a monthly live demo, and this past week was how to turn a template into a nice, safe toggle clamp system sled for flush trimming operations at the
I'll put the link. It'll take you to what what Guild Plus is about, and then once you sign up, you get access to not only that demo, but
all the past ones.
All the past ones too.
So last night this is not a Guild Plus thing, but it is a Guild thing. We watched in one of our watch-alongs.
Today's Friday.
2 days ago, we watched in one of our watch-alongs. It was like a double feature, Fine Woodworking's kind of a profile of Tay Frid.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with Tay Frid, he is somebody you should probably look into. So much was lost in I think once we go to a new medium, right? Yeah. We're looking at the transference from books, CDs, DVDs, all that tech sort of went by the wayside when YouTube came about. And with the production of video and all that stuff, a lot of these early videos that were made, and certainly, book content is kind of lost in a way. And there's a whole new generation of woodworkers who only have a history that goes back to 2006, 2005. And that kind of sucks, right? So when you look at people like Tay Frid, who was absolutely instrumental in not just woodworking in general, but the teaching of woodworking, and people, kind of paving the way for ding-dongs like me to come along and teach woodworking. So he has one of the best 3-volume books series from Taunton Press. It's one of their earliest things that they made. He
was in issue 1 of Fine Woodworking.
He was in the first 150 issues as a contributing editor. I don't think Fine Woodworking would be what it is today, or Taunton Press, without his influence or his involvement. So he's something that a lot of us owe a lot to, and influenced a lot of woodworkers. That's an understatement. So anyway, funny guy. The video was fantastic.
It was amazing.
And we watched this video together. Everybody had such a good time. And one of the things we were talking about is the use of a folding rule, and that he uses it a lot. And a bunch of people in the chat were like, yeah, I use one too. Now, I've had exactly 2 folding rules in my life, and they're always promotional products. One was from Festool, which I mentioned last night. I couldn't find it. But I also have this folding rule from, one of those companies you expect to get a measuring device from, Osmo. But they also sent me socks, so I can't complain.
They did send you socks. They were cute.
And if you haven't seen one of these, folding rules are pretty awesome. They're usually about a 6-foot ruler, and you just kind of wind it out, and you go as long as you need.
So if you don't want to buy one, Like the next tool you buy, say, hey, you got any folding ruler?
Got a promotional folding ruler that you could give me?
Ruler?
But a lot of people have said,
maybe we should make some promotional folding rulers.
I don't see why we shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the thing is, I got to start using it more. So that's kind of what I wanted to get into with you guys. Who uses one of these?
Yeah.
It is considered a bit of an older school tool, but it is a brilliantly simple, rigid ruler that doesn't have to, like my big 4-foot rules that I have in the shop.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Me neither.
You could piss off, lady. I wasn't even talking to you. And yeah, I mean, it gets to the heart. I don't understand. Why are people not using these more? But seriously, do you guys use these? And if you do, let me know, like, if there's a particular use case that you find them handy. But I'm going to try to use this more often because I was just watching it going, why don't I use this?
I grew up
so much better than a tape measure.
Those were always around the house. It's
an old school thing, right?
It was just something that was always there.
Yeah.
And they're fun to play with, too.
You could beat people with them, too. They make a fabulous noise. A very satisfying slap. So yeah, anyway, folding rules, pretty cool stuff. Not cool. Expensive either, if you wanted to buy one. They got them all over Amazon.
Yeah. So Corey wanted to know, does that folding rule have a marking on the back side? Does the folding rule fit in my back pocket?
Yes.
Yes,
and yes.
And yes.
So it's inches on one side. It is metric on the other. And
thank goodness.
I was walking around with this in my pocket earlier. And definitely.
And then I said.
And if you got like.
Is that
check it out. You got Duluthi's on.
Yeah.
You could fit them in the side pocket like that. Sweet.
There you go.
Someone mentioned earlier, like OMG, Mark and Nicole are on a green screen. We did bring this up last time. We're defying physics over here. It is a green screen.
It is a green screen because we have fiber internet at home, and we were just having way too many drops.
Yeah,
at the shop.
We're not happy. Don't mention Starlink. It's not an improvement.
No, it's
worse. It
worse.
will be a downgrade. But we are kind of stuck at this point, and we just want the show to be.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to do the show in the first place, but doing it and then hearing about people having freezes and drops, it's so frustrating for me. I don't want to do it. So we're at home. It's comfortable and
deal with the green screen.
And then hopefully,
if we wanted to, we could go to a tropical island.
I was gonna queue up a whole bunch of pictures and stuff for the background, but what is that? Okay,
that's my nurse.
Shall we move on to the show? Oh,
well, I got one more thing that I wanted to show. Mark shared this on.
Oh, we didn't show the pottery.
The pottery.
Okay.
So Mark's brother had said, because I don't know why I thought of it. I was asking his brother, like, you want to take a pottery class, like learn to like they call throw clay.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes. And so I found a lady in St. Charles. She has her own private studio. And she does private classes, and she has 6 spots. And so Mateo wasn't feeling well that day. So it was me, Ava, Mark, and Ian. And we went to throw clay. And there's Mark.
Yeah.
So it was Mark being out of his comfort zone. Ian was like, he was so good at it.
Yeah. Well, he had fun.
I honestly, but this is the best picture. This is Ava, just pure joy of her.
The only way that could be better is if you like put a puppy on her lap while she did it. That might be the only way to improve that moment for her. She was pretty happy.
And then here's Mark trying to center his clay.
That's hard.
It's so hard.
It is not as easy as you would think.
It and it did remind me a little bit of kind of the process you go through with turning. Not quite.
Yeah.
But it had elements.
Turning's easier.
Turning is easier. But if you throw clay, is that what they say? Throw clay?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, they sound like
because you throw it. You throw it down and boom.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, we got our stuff back from Nina. So if you are interested in her classes, she's amazing. She does like multi-week classes, and then she does private classes, like one-off. So we just did a one-off, and we made 2 pieces, and we just got them back, and I think they turned out pretty amazing. There's Ava's bowl. She is so cute. I called it her salsa bowl.
That's
I
cute.
gave her bananas in it the other day, and she
Nice.
about like squealed with joy.
We're going in the order of quality, by the way.
Oh,
Just
okay.
letting you
This is
know.
mine. This is my set. I actually really didn't make that. I kind of told Nina I wanted a cup.
Well, it was made right in front of you.
It was me, and I think I touched it a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind
You
of
probably put your finger right here.
right.
But it looks good.
I think, and then the bottom.
You coached her very well.
But the bottom, I didn't intend for it to be like the saucer.
Yeah.
But this is me. Can you show the hole?
Oh,
there.
I don't know if
You
you're
can
gonna
see it. You can see it.
Oh, yeah,
It's
there
right
it is.
there.
Nice little crack.
Yeah, nice little crack. I think I might put epoxy in it.
I think that's for dry things. All right.
And then
This one's one of mine.
This is MARC's.
I did not let her touch this one,
No.
which is why it's,
It looks really nice.
And then really the pinnacle of the experience
Yeah.
is my sort of malformed, weird looking thing.
I call them salsa bowls.
I call it art, is what I call it.
But
So,
you know
yeah.
what
Look at me go.
What surprised
Look
me
at you go.
most was how small. Like they felt like they were ginormous when we made them.
Yeah.
And then when we got them back,
I'm like, I can't eat a bowl of cereal out of that. What are we going to do with that?
trying to make themselves a cereal bowl. So if you've never done, true like turning clay, look around your neighborhood or your if you happen to be in the St. Charles, Missouri area, look up Nina Bean Pottery. She's great.
Yeah, she's funny.
She's a great teacher. She was a former school teacher, and she started doing these classes.
Yep, a lot of laughs.
So yeah, so we have questions and feedback, and I'm collecting them as.
I just saw a thumbs down come in, and I'd like to address that
There's
person.
There's two thumbs down.
I'd like to address both
They
of you.
don't like the pottery.
I would like to let you know, I think you hit the wrong button. The thumb goes the other way. Just a suggestion. It's really just my instinct. You hit the wrong one. All right, let's get going. I want to answer questions.
All right.
We're 24
All right.
minutes into the show.
It's okay.
I even said as we started.
We missed 2 weeks.
I said let's.
But we do have a hard stop.
Good. That's what
At
they want to
10.
hear.
All right.
Now that we got all the off-topic stuff
So
on.
the kickback is, I have one kickback from Rich from Timberland High School, who I brought up a few shows before. He's trying to get his woodworking high schoolers to build 60 beds for a program called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So
38 beds.
they have 38 beds so far, so they're a little bit short, and I told him I would let people know if you would like to contribute. It's $60 a bed. That's for the supplies, and I'll put, basically you make the check out to Timberland High School, and I'll put the information in there. So if you want to help these kids make beds for other little kids so they don't have to sleep on the floor, it's a great program.
It is.
So and they have I'll put the Facebook website
Awesome.
as well.
It's a good
So,
cause. Where this
and then
question came, where did that come from?
that was a reply from the email that I
Oh.
sent out last night.
Okay.
So that's why I put it in kickback. So
Okay, so Len is asking about an update on the CNC. You guys been following me on Instagram? In fact,
No.
I think I still have a story from yesterday with the progress that we made on the CNC. So Len says, I have the same model and I'm working well, but still haven't found a good way to handle the dust collection. Curious what you're planning on doing for dust collection. I don't know yet. Honestly, we just got the table together yesterday. We got the X and Y rails on the bed, and then we put the gantry in place, and then I had to leave for the day. So
Yeah.
I don't really know for sure. So if you're wondering, it's the Next Wave CNC. They have the HD 544. That's the 4x4 unit. Bigger than you would think. Like
It
when
does
you
look
go in
pretty
there,
big.
you're gonna go, what are we doing? This is a big thing
is
in the space
that the
now.
one?
That is the one.
All right, I'll put a link in the chat so people know what you're
So I
talking
don't really
about.
have a big update other than like we're still putting it together. I'm super excited about it. I mean, you guys know, some of you know, I had a CNC in my last shop, the Powermatic CNC. And I really just started to scratch the surface of using it. Like, here's the thing. People who get concerned like, oh, Mark's going to switch the CNC content. I'm not. I will show the CNC. my love for woodworking comes from my hands being very much involved in the process, but I do have admiration and I have sort of an intrigue about like what you can do with these tools. And I will be incorporating it more into my work if I can, but it is never going to replace the stuff that I do with my hands, you know, like that's why I'm in this game. But I still have a bit of an infatuation with lasers and CNC and 3D printing and all that stuff. So I do look forward to getting a little bit more into it, but it is the next wave CNC. One of the reasons, and I had someone ask, why did you go with that company? One of the reasons is because they have a full line of CNCs. When I had the Powermatic CNC, Powermatic had two models. They had the one that I had and a slightly smaller one, and they were also extremely expensive for what they were. So when I got into the CNC thing again, I'm like, do I really want to go with like a $20,000 machine? And then I was like, no, I'd rather use something that if you guys are watching me and maybe you're inspired to get into CNC as well.
CNC curious?
You can go to that same company and find a model that will fit into your shop and probably fit into your budget, and we'll be using the same stuff, right? As opposed to me using something that completely outpaces what the average DIYer in their shop can do. So that was one of the main reasons we decided to work with them on this. So that's the CNC story.
Corey thinks that we should get a branded backside sandpaper folding ruler.
It's not a bad idea. Smack your backside with it. Get that satisfying slap. Like that. I mean, obviously, if companies are doing this, this is something we can get done.
Yeah, affordable. I can look into it. It's one of the many things that I'm looking into right now.
You have a lot to look into.
God, I'm looking into so much
stuff. We got to look into a shed.
I'm looking, not just a shed, I'm actually looking at possibly a building that matches the firehouse that would be on the side.
Isn't a shed a building?
Right, but a shed to me is a teeny tiny little thing.
A big shed.
Okay.
A big shed is a building. Anyway. Question from James.
Hey, before you do that, Robert Price is he did a super chat.
Oh.
And when you do a super chat, you get bumped up.
Well, Robert.
He said,
hello.
Thumbs down.
Oh, what a jerk. I would like those two guys to reverse. I'm still waiting. I will wait.
We will notice.
And I will notice when it happens. You did it wrong.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it.
Okay, James Cheever has a question. I'm looking at getting a filter shaker for my dust collector. How do you like the Meyer Woodworks shaker that you got for the Oneida Gorilla Pro? Is it working as well as you hoped? Also, I've seen it installed at the top of the filter and also at the bottom of the filter. Do you have a recommendation for the best location performance-wise? So answering that second question last, I put it where he told me to. He says, put it at the top. There's a silencer that's up there, a little muffler at the top, and then there's the filter stack. He said, install it under the muffler, but above the filter stack, and that's what I did. I would think logic dictates if you're shaking from the top, maybe, where the actual source of the movement is, and then everything can kind of fall down from there. But honestly, that thing shakes the crap out of it, and I'm not 100% sure that it matters that much. I also don't know if maybe having the shaker at the bottom causes additional movement that can then stress the components and the parts at the top. But all I know is he told me install it there, and I doubt it makes a huge difference, but it's been working great. I love this thing. After I did my blowout on it, and it's about as clean as I could physically get it myself, I put that thing back together, put the shaker on it, and ran the shaker. And sure enough, there's a whole bunch of crap in the bottom. So it does exactly what it's supposed to do. And I don't think I will ever run a filter stack in the shop without something like that on it to agitate the pleats.
Tommaso says, what do you need a shed for? And then Richard says, Mark is going to need to get a shop for his shop.
You guys have all great ideas.
And Corey, yes. So I'm working with the city of Flint Hill because we're in what is called the historic district, even though we're around the corner.
Well, no, it's a downtown
district. So they're really great at City Hall. Dennis especially has been trying to help me, and I'm just trying to make sure. I mean, the firehouse is kind of ugly because it's just old brick, and I would love to do something like wooden, rustic slats instead of that white, vinyl.
You know what I'd love to do? knock it down and start
Well,
over.
that's what I mean. But that's why I'm saying.
I want to start with a wrecking ball and just take it from there.
But what I want to do, we have so much property on the side. That's where I think a building, not a shed, could be really cool to be like, boom, right there.
A big shed.
A big shed.
Okay, let's, to me, what defines the difference, I want a shed, and it doesn't matter what size it is, there will be no electricity, and it will be pure storage.
I want
Now, if you're talking about a building, now we have to talk about a whole different array of things to worry about to get power to this place.
But I think big.
You think a little too big sometimes, Nicole.
We have a couple of people that I'm talking to that want to help us.
If by want to help, that means do it for free, then yes. If I'm writing the check, maybe not now.
Maybe not now.
But to answer your question, Tommaso, the reason we need a shed is because you would think the building would be big enough to handle all the storage needs plus all the actual things we need to do, the areas where there's tooling and stuff. The problem is we've already grown into that space.
It's me. It's 100% me. If it was just Mark in that space, it probably would be fine. But I'm coming in with my lasers and my 3D printers and all of our merchandise, and I'm like,
yeah.
And now he's doing the CNC. I will probably get into some CNC stuff because I'm really interested in that.
Right. I work alone, so I have to have tools and things to move the heavy machinery when time comes to do that. So those are always in the way. And if we do decide to do more classes in the future, I now have 5 extra workbenches that need to be stored. I don't want them in the shop full time.
No, and lumber.
So a place for the lumber, all the clamps. So and then of course, we have a whole side of this business with merchandise. We have a whole bunch of, you guys know how I do a lot of product reviews. Stuff comes in, right? And I need a place to kind of stage the material that's coming in so that I could set it up for videos and just have places where I don't lose this stuff. I want to be organized. Oh, and let's not forget backside sandpaper.
Yes,
which lives in the shop too. So there's just a lot. And it did not take long for us to go, well, crap, we need more room. And that's where the storage shed comes in.
Shut up. Let Nicole have her she shed and Mark can have the outbuilding with a urinal.
I might be okay with that. Your she brick shed. All right. Ed had a question.
Ed.
He says, I've just completed a bedside table in Chari. I would like to use tung oil, but have several questions. How many coats of tung oil? How long to wait between coats? And then what to use as a top coat for good protection? All right, Ed, I'm going to probably change, or at least suggest that you change the direction here. When people use tung oil, or one of these polymerizing drying oils that just, frankly, they just take a long time to cure, and they don't offer nearly as much protection as quickly as other things. So if you're going to put tung oil on there, and then you're going to top coat it with something more durable, you could probably skip the tung oil in most cases. What I would do is grab a little piece of test material, and what do you say, cherry? It's probably not going to make any difference. If you get an oil-based wiping varnish, something like Armor Seal or Waterlocks, and you do a side-by-side, one with the tung oil as a pre-coat and then the top coat, or just one with only the top coat, you probably will see no visual difference. But you know what difference there will be? You'll be done so much faster, and you'll have the thing you want, and you won't have to worry about the tung oil, which can cause curing problems for anything you put on top of it if you're in a rush and you don't let it have enough cure time. So I can tell you, if you're going to do the tung oil finish, you want at least 24 hours between coats, you want the temperature up, you want good airflow, and if you can wait longer between coats, do, because it just takes a long time to cure. And the more coats you put on, the more you kind of exacerbate the slow cure part of that process. But I really encourage you, if you're going with an oil-based top coat for additional protection, to skip right to the oil-based top coat and not worry about the tung oil. It's just going to save you a ton of time.
I take offense. Cremona does a good impression of me.
Oh, yeah, Tommaso. Wrong thing to say, buddy.
And by the time, Bobby C wants to know, when's Wood Talk? Have you had a Wood Talk?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Wood Talk is dead to me.
No, it's not. You just did an episode
we're probably
about the pottery. The thumbnail is a pottery.
We're probably due for a new show. Okay. But I think right now, until we have a sponsor, I think we're probably going to do monthly shows.
Okay.
That's all I got in me.
Okay.
It's tough time right now. There's just a lot on the schedule.
The classes, really, honestly, we should not have done 3 in a row.
Look, it was a bad idea. The whole thing was a bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
It was a bad idea to do 3 in a row.
Yeah.
January, February, March. This is why Mark Adams doesn't even have classes.
Right.
He has a season for classes because he understands what snow is.
Well, see,
what cold temperatures are.
the problem is you jinxed us by putting in the write-up. January is very mild.
Yeah, it can get cold, but we don't usually have much precipitation. Well, shows what you know, Spags. All right.
Bearded Viking, just here's a question. How the heck are you?
Hey.
Hope you're well. Hey, we're hanging in there.
We're
here.
We're here.
Yep.
There's that.
Yep.
It's been a crazy. If you guys follow some of the domestic stuff we have going on, it's a tricky time for us, but we're persevering and getting through. I got a question from Richard.
Yeah, Richard.
Richard says, I'm finding that some of my flat boards, typically 3/4 of an inch thick, are now cupping. I use best practices, letting the wood acclimate to my shop, milling in a couple of steps, more I actually have trouble with that word.
Acclimation?
Well, it's acclimation is one of the versions of the word. Acclimatizing.
Acclimatizing.
Finish on both sides, etc.
That would be weird if I knew how to say it and you didn't.
That would indeed be weird.
That just would make my brain hurt.
What'd you say this morning about lemons?
Lemon, yeah, like...
What was the thing you were trying to say?
I don't even... Lemon.
She goes... I was talking about I dropped Ava off at school, and there was a weird thing, like, you know how people in cars and they have to all coordinate and do something together, and it usually doesn't go well, right? People did something
unless somebody's
different.
directing.
Yeah, people did something very different than they normally do, and I was explaining this to Nicole, and she's like... And we're talking about how everyone's just following each other, even though it's the wrong thing. And she goes, wow, just like a bunch of lemons.
I meant lemons.
Yep, Nicole, just like lemons. They're all like a bunch of citrus.
Anthony said, a group class photo without the professor? What are you talking about?
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. In
fact, was hidden.
You're right. He's right in between Doug and Jim. I think that's Jim.
Yep. Yeah, no, I was very cleverly hidden. You can barely see me.
And so, yeah, he was just kind of standing in
All right, let's get back to Richard's question.
Silently judging. Yeah.
So anyway, he's having problems. It's moving. Are there any tips you could suggest? Or just be patient when the better weather arrives. Nature will reverse this. I don't have measurements, but for sure the cherry and the maple wood are cupped more than I've seen in the past. Well, the only thing I could say, Richard, I mean, obviously there could be variables at play with the wood itself. But conditions, I don't know, where did he say? New Hampshire?
Did he say New Hampshire? I wasn't listening.
Yep, New Hampshire. It's cold right now, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's cold in New Hampshire. I know here in Missouri, we've had several significant cold spells, and the heat is running constantly.
Yeah.
The humidifiers, like we run a couple humidifiers to try it, they cannot keep up. They are just dumping water into the air, and it is just going out the window.
Yeah.
So it's dry. And I would just say that right now, probably is something like that. We're in like the worst part of winter, and that maybe when there's a little bit more moisture and we don't have this kind of extreme temperature and extreme dryness situation, that maybe things will improve. But that would be my best guess if you haven't normally seen this. This is not typical for your shop, and this is also just something that can happen on a yearly basis as you have these fluctuations in conditions that the furniture you've already built can start to move in unpredictable ways.
Says, given the humidity and temperature swings you'll want to heat your storage shed, so you'll need power.
So that can be part of the problem too. When the stuff comes in and then it gets stored in your shop, that's one set of conditions. It was stored somewhere else prior to that. That's another set of conditions. And then once you start to process it, you take those top layers of wood off of there, and there's sometimes a little bit more moisture at the center of the board. There's a gooey, moisty center. And as you take the outer layers off, you expose those, and then it quickly loses that moisture to a low humidity environment. And then once it's all said and done, you apply finish, and you put it in the house with yet another set of conditions. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot to ask of a natural product like that. So I think we just have to kind of...
Mr. King 33 said, how much are these classes?
They are very expensive.
Well, let's just say it's 5 people. We provide lunch and dinner for 2 nights.
Yeah.
It takes, so they come in on a Thursday night usually. If I'm feeling well, I usually will so far I haven't felt well on Thursdays. So
well, you say usually. We haven't done that yet.
No, we haven't done it
It was
yet.
an idea.
It was
anyway,
an idea.
It's
Anyway,
Friday, Saturday,
Sunday.
It's 3 days.
And class ends usually around 3 or 4 on Sunday.
Yeah, so there's like breakfast type snacks in the morning, lunch, and then we actually do dinner together. We stay late if we need to. This last class, there were a couple of nights we stayed till 8 o'clock or something like that. And especially if people are gelling well, there's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of fun. My mom's cooking most of the time. You don't really have to worry about anything when you're there.
The hotels that I have recommended, which are, there's a Hampton Inn and a, what's the Holiday Inn Express. Holiday Inn Express is right across from Sugar Fire, which is a really decent barbecue, and you can literally walk across the street. Yeah. But they serve breakfast, so a lot of times, poor Mark's mom went through so much work to get a breakfast type thing made.
For the first group.
And everybody's like, we're not really that hungry.
Yeah, they already had breakfast.
I think they had breakfast. So, but yeah. So to answer your question, at this time, it's a $500 if we have them. It's a $500 deposit, and then the remaining $1,250 is, I think, 40 days before the class or something like that. So they are expensive.
And that includes material.
It includes
in this case, it included walnut.
Yeah.
To make the project.
And that's just that's this class. So
well, the thing is, we don't know where the pricing is going to go. For instance, this last class. We don't even
know if we're going to do anymore.
Right. This last class, I had to get new material to accommodate the changes that I made. This is nobody else's fault but mine. That I just bought the material for that class yesterday, and it was $1,000 to get enough material, and now I have to spend a couple days milling it up and then making the parts for everybody. So there's a lot of work involved.
Yes.
So that's what we were pricing it before. I don't know what it's going to be
the way
from here.
I look at these classes are not, you're just here to learn this woodworking thing. You're here to have an experience with us, with Mark.
You're gonna experience us. Ask some of the people who've already attended.
Keith's in the chat.
For better or worse. Boy, are you gonna get some spag. Little spag action.
And I actually, after the first class, I was like, I want to make sure we're hitting expectations. So for the second class, I sent out a little survey, and I was like, what are your goals for this experience?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're coming from, making these types of classes.
Bobby has a legitimate question.
Yeah.
He says, what does being hungry have to do with eating? I like where your head is. You would fit perfect in TWW Mom's world, because she had all of the things. She loves to feed people.
She does. She loved the whole process of feeding.
Yep.
Everyone.
All right. Evan has a question. Has anyone here replaced, I actually kind of love this question, replaced the cord on a tool with the Festool quick change cord? I have a Mirka sander that I prefer over the Festool, but I've got other Festool products, and I'd like to not need to change out the cord, which would invariably be wrapped around the dust hose. I have this issue with the Festool product because I have the Festool, the replacement for the TS55, the circular saw. It's the HK6 something hooch. But the cord is now integral, like it's attached to the saw. So the hose and cord combo for the quick changed one, that little combo, which is attached to my vac, is always there. So I have to unplug the one that's in place, plug in the saw, and then I always have, because it's tied into my hose, I keep them as a unit together. I've always got that little pigtail hanging out when I'm using my saw. So I got to figure out a solution for this too. But I looked around, I remembered, and correct me if I'm wrong, those of you who have been around for a while, didn't Festool used to make a little pigtail adapter that you could plug in? So basically you would be able to take any regular tool, and I think it was, can't remember if it was to be something that you would wire in and modify, but either way, bottom line is it would give you a little female pigtail that would engage with the Festool system. So you could attach it to any tool, and they stopped making them quite a while ago. And I think one of the same reason why the saw has a dedicated cord is I think when you get to a certain point in power hungriness of the tool, their little quick fit system, they don't like using that, right? So their OF 2200 router, the big boy, and then a more powerful saw ends up not using the same, what do they call that thing? I can't remember what the name of it is, the little twist lock thing that they use.
I'm not paying attention. I'm looking for something.
You wouldn't know the answer anyway. It was
probably
rhetorical. I know it was more asking them. Yeah. So I looked around, and I don't think, at least from what I was able to find, that anyone has a really good answer currently for this. Because I think one of the risks you run is if you kind of cobble something together, the possibility of maybe it's just you don't have the right gauge wire, or it's not as safe for the amp draw that's going to be there with the tools. So just be careful if you're going to get into this. But I would love to ask the chat room if you guys have seen anything like this that would be kind of a little more of a plug and play system, because otherwise, yeah, and I totally see why someone wants to do this.
It's a doohickey.
It is a doohickey, yeah. But they used to make it, and then they stopped.
Joe said that he talked about it a bit ago, and then he bought his pigtail on eBay.
Right. So that's the thing. Like aftermarket, I think I saw someone in a forum talking about they found a place that still had them, but it was in Europe, and they wouldn't sell to the U.S. So I don't know.
Weird.
But it's a legitimate thing. If you're in that system and you've kind of bought into that Festool family, you would like everything to be that kind of quick change system, and then when something isn't, it's really kind of disruptive.
Yeah. So we had this question in the Guild Facebook group, and Dennis just asked, do you have a link for the filter shaker? And all I'm thinking is the Harlem Shake.
It's a good thing to think about.
So a lot of people in the forum posts were like, oh, this Amazon, da-da-da-da. But then I actually asked you the one that the guy sent you.
Yeah,
Cody Meyer. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. It's MeyerWoodworks.com, and it's the Oneida 3000 filter vibrator.
Now, this is something you want to get specific to the unit you have.
Yeah.
But you want to check with him because he might be able to make you something for a custom design, or if you happen to have the models that he already has, you're in luck.
Yeah.
But people were saying like this is basically, I guess it's a concrete shaker.
Yeah, that's what.
Right?
Yeah, a few of them were like, oh, I use a concrete shaker.
You guys are handy people. You could probably do something like this. I mean, when you see what it is, it's basically some kind of polycarbonate material, like a plastic material, that the concrete shaker is bolted to, and then a plug on the end. And in fact, I want to get a switch for it, and just so I can leave it plugged in. But basically, like you just install that plate between your filter or somewhere in the filter stack, and it just shakes the crap out of it, right? So you could probably cobble something like this together. That said, if you're like me and you'd rather do woodworking than put together filter shakers, you could just buy one from a nice guy who's just trying to make a buck, making some cool stuff.
Yeah, he's making some cool stuff.
Myers Woodworks,
he's
I think.
He's a small business. Is this what is so? Jeff O'Connor or Jeffrey O'Connor? I don't know if this the same. I don't think it's just Jeff.
Plug it. That's what I see. That's
Plug
why.
it.
That's why I asked them and not you.
And then that's the link for it right there. So.
Yeah. Well, that's just the power cord.
Oh, that's the power cord.
Yeah, that's what the people are trying to get that to adapt to tools.
Well, it says plug it power cord.
It's because it's a power cord.
Oh.
Okay. It's the power cord
okay.
that comes with all their tools.
Okay.
What they want to do is hook that end up to a non-Festool tool for quick change.
Yes. All right. We're out of questions, right?
Yeah. By the way, it's MeyerWoodworks.com
MeyerWoodworks.
if you want to find those shakers.
Yeah, and he has a little shop.
Yep.
So.
He's got a little shop.
Yep, and he sent that to us for free.
He did, yeah. Full disclaimer. I just showed up one day.
Yeah,
Did he contact you about that?
I don't remember.
Either way, I came in and I'm like, wait, what is this thing? And I opened it up and I'm like, ah! Like that is what I did. Because I actually had admired them and I thought, like, I used to think the Jet one? There's a couple of them that actually will, when you cycle down, they've got a little flappy thing that goes in and actually agitates the pleats of the filter. But this, to me, is so much more elegant of a solution, and it's adaptable. Doesn't have to come built in. You could just add it on. So
we have about 9 minutes for questions. So Ice Woodworks wants to know: has multiple iterations of the bar stool changed your view and approach on future design projects, or possibly remakes of previous Guild projects?
No, that's a lot of work. What are you talking about? It does make me realize how important the iteration process is. And also potentially, not that I don't really favor design by committee. I never think that that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But I do think there is value in getting feedback so that you can incorporate that and make changes for the better.
Yeah.
In the case of this design, a lot of the feedback I got was more about the process and less about the build itself, which was super important in the context of a class. It also made me realize that the footage that I filmed maybe 6 months ago, that is in the can, as we say, and that was ready to become a guild course, is now no longer useful to me. Too many things have changed. I've made too many improvements, and even the process improvements that work for the class, guess what? They work great for the people who are going to buy that course. So
the people that waited till March for the class might have a different experience than the people that came in from January.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, I guess that's okay, but ultimately, it was a new design. It was something that hadn't really been tested outside of the 3 I made for us, right?
But the good thing is, if you did come to the class in January and February, when this comes out as a guild course, you're going to get it for free.
Yeah, anybody who took the class with us will get it for free. But it does make me realize that, like, if I could do this in a very, like, I'd totally design it without the confines of, like, time and money. If I could take every guild course and run it through some people, run them through it and have that, like, it would make a world of difference. And I think our courses are pretty top notch. And even when I design something, I usually design within a fairly safe set of rules, and I don't go too far out on a limb with these things, so I know it's going to work. But I do think every one of these could benefit from passing through multiple hands for me to build multiples before I commit to video.
Sure.
It all would go better. The problem is time.
Yeah.
I barely have enough time to build the one and then move on, right? So yeah, I would love to do that, and it was a learning experience, but it's really unlikely that I would go back and revisit an old course, because going back to revisit it would negate what's already there and kind of create a duplicate thing that people who already bought it wouldn't have much motivation to buy the new one.
Sure.
Like it would, there wouldn't be from the business side of things, it wouldn't be very helpful.
Michael said, where can I get info on your classes if you're going to do another?
Yeah.
If you go to TWW's store, I'll put a link in the chat. Under the category made by MARC, I have the class. And if you click on the class, you'll see the bar stool. There it is. It says sold out.
It is sold out.
If you go
to that
in,
page.
go to that page, because the very first line says, sign up to be notified when we add more classes. That's how you're going to know.
Yeah, it's just a little newsletter waitlist.
If I have any cancellations for the March class, this is going to be the first list of people I send notification to. Like, hey, we got a spot. So yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, like I had alluded to, I don't know for sure that we're going to keep doing the classes, but now that I've gone through all this trouble, the amount of jigs and sleds and fixtures and holders, like working out this process now, I'm like, now I have to have another class on this.
I just want to...
I put all this effort into this. What am I going to do? Never build it again and throw them all away? Like... Yeah, I don't know. I got some decisions to make.
Raw made the comment, I'll make sure my Honey plugin is on when I click on that affiliate link. Don't do that. If you're not familiar, if you use the Honey plugin, they're stealing affiliate. Yeah, don't do it.
Now's a good time to stop.
Now's a good time to stop using that. Anytime you use those discount sites, they take the person that told you about the product and they swap out their affiliate link.
They basically hijack the affiliate link.
They have stolen millions of dollars, I think, from other creators.
You know what's funny? I had to reset something on my PC, and I don't use my PC for much other than gaming, but I wanted to get ready to start to use Vectric vCarve on it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was going through my browser, and apparently somehow either me or you don't go on my PC.
I uninstalled Honey.
But Honey came up, and it's like, log back. I'm like, like,
I'm not doing that.
Not now. I barely used it before.
And it makes me upset that because a lot of times you just use it to see if there's a coupon, but they still, at that point, will swap out the affiliate.
Yeah, there's videos exposing them recently that is pretty dirty stuff.
So forget that honey plug-in.
But good joke.
Yes.
Was it Raoul?
Yeah, Raoul.
Yeah, that was a pretty good joke.
And I don't know who this is. It doesn't have a name. That's so weird.
Oh, that's weird.
It says you could be doing a show from we could put.
Good idea.
Oh yeah.
We could have the bridge.
Yeah, that's so weird that there's no name.
I'm going to do it for next week. I'm going to get the Bridge of the Enterprise.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. And Raphael. Hi, Raphael. I don't remember if you have a project for building an undersaw table.
That's the next guild course.
It's coming up.
It's a under table saw storage cabinet for blades, for if you got a saw stop for all your brakes and accessories for the table saw.
Yeah. We got a question here. Are you going to get the laser attachment for the CNC?
I would like to. We're also hopefully going to be working with Eon Laser to get a laser unit. So it makes me wonder, do I want the laser on the CNC? Because here's the thing with the laser, like I really like having that schmutz contained.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and the Eon is like...
It's a self-contained unit.
Oh, I can't wait.
The full-size open CNC is like, I'm not sure that I want that, but it is tempting because it's a 4x4 space. So I'm thinking about it. I don't have the laser, but it's definitely something that's on my mind. Do you know what else they have too?
What?
They have a thing that you could put on there for, like, you could put a Sharpie on it. And you can use it to draw plans and do all kinds of stuff.
That's kind of neat.
Someone suggested I use that to sign my books.
Oh, that's so funny.
Now, when we launched the book, when I had like thousands to sign, that would have come in handy. Set up all the books, hit go.
And Keith asked, and I think you already answered, are you going to do a video or provide details on how the bar stool has been improved over the various iterations? I think that would be a good free site video.
Maybe, but at the very least, yes, you're probably right with that. At the very least, though, the new guild course that comes from this, when I'm going to have to build another one on camera to make that course, that will feature a lot of that in talking about, because I saved a lot of the earlier components and the things and showing you the problems and the changes. We will go through that evolution and then actually build it, and making some kind of a free-side version of that would probably be good too. Yeah, I like that idea.
And final question, because we have to go. Garrett Brown wants to know, I almost finished with a cedar well roof with my father's for my father's well. I was going to use teak oil. After hearing the tung oil answer, should I not use teak oil? My idea was my father can apply new coats.
Well, see, the thing is, though, when you're talking about something that's outside, something that's going to have extreme levels of abuse, which that's what's going to happen outside, having a finish that can be reapplied and that doesn't build a thick film is essential. So in your case, you're talking about something exterior. If you did a more durable film finish, he said it's for his dad. Your dad's going to have flaking finish at some point, and he's going to have to completely strip the finish off or scrape it off to apply something new. So the good thing about using teak oil is that is, again, just an oil. You're adding it periodically. You have to add it periodically if you want it to continue to work, and you don't want everything to kind of just gray and weather naturally. But the key is you can reapply it because it's not a thick film finish. So I actually think in that case, you are kind of on the right track, as long as you are married to the maintenance, or you know that it's going to gray sooner than later, which is probably fine for cedar shingle type things.
All right, so it's the top of the hour and we have another meeting. We want to thank you for hanging out with us. We got a whole, we have over 300 people in the chat.
Yeah.
We still have 2 thumbs down. They probably did it and just left. They said, I'm out of here.
Well, screw those guys. They're already gone.
But we really appreciate you taking your time to hang out with us.
Totally.
And we hope you have fun. I know I have fun. Honestly, it's the only reason why I want to do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like...
I know, you're the meh.
Meh.
I'm not the meh.
Did you see on your guild post the other day where you were like, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I know I can't speak for Mark, but... I'm so thankful for everybody.
I was just having a moment
and
of
then I came in
and I did and I don't like to speak for you because I know you're the crotchety guy and I'm like...
But I think as a business, generally if you're going to thank people, you could wrap me into that.
That's okay.
I mean,
do it yourself. I'm not doing it for you. You do it yourself.
Fine. I'll do it my way too.
So,
okay.
All right. Oh, Matt Robinson.
You could take those thumbs and you know where to put them.
And see you on Sunday. Yeah, we'll be back next week, next Friday at the normal time, which is 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. I was going to say Pacific. I was like, whoa, that's way off. So
okay.
All right. So, bye.
Yeah. Have a great weekend.
Yep.
Bye.